What's up, guys? Today I want to answer a question from a subscriber. He was asking how often do we get setups based on this in Forex, and he was referring to my Wyckoff trading method, and I want to answer that because it is something that I've been trading for years and years, and I'm not looking for it in the market, but it does pop up once in a while, and if you train your eyes, you will see many types of patterns based on this that are not always exactly the same. But there's a few tricks that I want to give you guys today that might help you in spotting opportunities, especially if you use multiple time frames and multiple technical analysis patterns in order to zoom in into shorter time frames. So let's get started. We have the Australian USD here on a 30-minute chart, and as he was asking me this question, I literally had the Australian dollar chart open next to me on my other trading system that I'll show you in a sec, and I just glanced and I was like, well, there's one right there, and I told him the time, and he was seeing bullish and bearish, and I was seeing bullish. So I want to explain my thought process. And the first thing I want to talk about is if we go back here on this schematic here, this wave over here, it often, in my experience, it does often something like a curve as it goes down, basically. And then it accelerates, and it's something that I've noticed over and over. Like you see here, and then there's like a curve with multiple small waves, and then it accelerates. And if you see that acceleration near the lows, near an area where there's a lot of lows, I never take that breakout on the downside. I always wait to see if it bounces back inside of the channel. So what I mean by that is that over here, there was a zone where we saw this wave here, which corresponds to that zone here. And then we have the spring. And I don't really pay attention to the first phases, phase A and phase B, I guess. Well, the beginning of phase B, you have that wave inside of it, so I guess I do a bit, but the phase A, it's irrelevant to me. What really matters to me is the spring, this little zone over here. And depending on the school of thought that you listen to, you will have different names for it. In my days, it was called a bear trap. You hear smart money concepts, you hear all kinds of new terms that I've never heard in my life that I've seen on YouTube recently, and it's all good, but at the end of the day, we're all talking about the same thing, which is basically the stop losses getting hunted and a lack of willingness for people to short. So when I see that, then I power up my trading systems, and I start to look for breakouts from structures of higher highs and higher lows, basically. So let me show you what it looks like on my end. So this is the Australian 30 minutes. If we zoom in on this zone over here, we have the zone of accumulation in that zone. And this series of lows is very, very obvious. So once you see something like that, you can, I can do two things at the same time. I'm a man. When you see this type of structure here where you have a lot of lows, there's people paying attention to that, and I'm not sure if it happens voluntarily, because the whole I don't think that people are waiting on the sideline with the intent of hunting the stop losses of everybody. I know it happens, but I've seen it on such small time frames that there's no way that the big players are just playing for a couple of pips. And I saw picture perfect of this pattern occurring on all time frames. And so I think it's something that happens with a mixture of supply and demand and human psychology and whatever the variables are. They all congregate together to do this as a result. But what I look for is that spring or bear trap or inducement or whatever the term you want to call it. And then there is a move back inside and then the test. And this is where I really go into a mode where I'm looking for smaller time frames, and I want to find places where I have a buy signal on my trading system at that point. So you see here we have the test in this zone over here, and then I get a bunch of buy signals, and we got some supply coming in as well, because yesterday's lows is getting penetrated at the same time. So you bet your ass that there's a bunch of stop losses here because people are still shorting it. So a lot of false signals, basically. Even my system gives me a false signals at that point, but I don't take every single signal. What I do is I look at the big picture. And if we go back to trading view, if you look, let's say, on a 4-hour chart, that happened to be part of a bigger picture, which was a reverse head and shoulder, and we were in the right shoulder over here, and that was the exact point at which it did a final bear trap, basically. And then from there, I can even, like, I don't need to like now I'm showing you this with the benefit of hindsight, but it's just to show you that by using a lot of time frames and a lot of concepts, you can figure out what's happening. And now we had that big pump, and it's thanks to the fact that on a bigger time frame we had a higher high, a higher low. I mean, not a higher high yet, but actually we did over here. So as you can see here, and then this, on a bigger picture, this low here is at the same height as this low and higher than the head, basically. So that created the big impulse that we have over here. And if we go on a small time frame, we can find opportunities to go long. You can there's a few ways you can trade this. You can go long after the test over here as it breaks higher highs, like my system was showing, or you could go long on the breakout of the whole range. And this is why breakout systems or methods are very hard to use in practice, in my experience, because of all the false breakouts. But if you wait for one false breakout and then the structure starts to look like your Wyckoff or Wyckoff or whatever, then I really pay attention to it and I start trading inside of it, because now I have bigger odds of it. But I'm not hunting for Wyckoff every single day that I trade, but it's just that when I pay attention, I see it in many spots, and then I go look for opportunities on smaller time frames, and I can pyramid into these types of setups if the market is with me. So that's what I wanted to answer. Basically, the answer is that it occurs on every single time frame that I can think of. But what it is really is just another way for the market to reverse. So you've got, let's say I'm going to do the bearish one. You've got this one, the first one here, where you have your you have the break here, and you'll notice a lot of the time that these, sometimes this is not equal, but the important thing is to remember that it's zones basically. So you got a bunch of stop losses in this zone, and then you have a penetration and no follow-up. So if you get a break on low volume after a long uptrend, yeah, well, maybe if you can short it right away if you're not scared, but you can also wait for the pullback inside of the channel, and then the test, and then from there you go on smaller time frames, and then you start looking for structures that show lower lows and lower highs like that, and you just short a break. And that's how I trade it. And you can do the same thing with a multitude of technical analysis pattern. That's what I do, you know, and a lot of people say it doesn't work, but I got news for you. So anyways, the other one that you can find is this one here, where you have the type 2, where this is not able to reach the highs. And the other structure is the good old head and shoulder pattern, which occurs a lot. And sometimes it does this as well. To me, this is even weaker, but I short in the same areas. I short on the reversal of that pattern, and I look for the same thing. I just look for these small waves on the downside, and I try to find targets based on measured moves of previous waves, and that's as simple as it gets. But it takes a lot of time to train your eyes and to get used to getting in early in these types of positions, because you don't want to be if you're always buying when you have all the confirmations in the world and selling in the same type of setup, you're always going to be late, and it's going to retrace in your face every time, and your stop's going to get hunted. And so you need to play smart and practice a lot before you invest your own money, because this takes years and years of training, in my experience. And I think that's why people quit, because they use every single technical analysis pattern on a single time frame, and then they're like, technical analysis doesn't work. Well, Sherlock, you got to combine multiple time frames as well. You got to zone in, and you got to do a step-by-step process. And you know, my process is basically looking for a setup, and this is what I do in my weekly videos. I look for points of where price can bounce or break from a structure or from a trend line. And then from there, I zone in, and during the week, I look at the price action, and I figure out if my thesis is correct or not. But it's a multiple stage process, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Last thing before I go, guys, I started a Discord server. There's only one person that joined so far. This is where I'm gonna share the sauce. Basically, I'm gonna show you the stocks that I hold on my bigger portfolio, and I'm gonna do $1,000 a month into the account to show you how fast you can grow by compounding and using volatility to your advantage. And I'm gonna trade growth stocks, cyclical stocks, eventually dividend stocks. But right now I'm in the growth phase. I want to show you in phases how to build wealth, basically going from 0 to 10,000, then from 10,000 to 30, from 30 to 60, and then from 60 to 100, and just keep growing your wealth, and at the same time learning the craft of trading. But right now I want to focus on getting people, as many people as possible, to be walking before they start running. Because I think a lot of people do the other way around. They think because of the fact that Forex or trading in general is such a low barrier to entry, you send a couple of grand and you open an account and boom, you're a trader. But it doesn't exactly work like that if you want to make money, if you want to treat it as a business. There's a lot of learning to be had. And the first thing that you need to learn is to build discipline. And this is what I'm going to try to do with that Discord channel. And there's a community as well, a place for a community where you can exchange with other people and learn from other people, not just me. And I'm hoping to interact with you guys and learn from you guys as well. I don't have the holy truth So I encourage you to go there. This is where the best videos are going to be at in the next couple of months. Much better than the ones that I've been doing over here. So go visit. See you in the next one.